Welcome to How Did You Do That, the podcast where guests share the behind the scenes of their successful B2B content marketing campaigns. The path to success is rarely as smooth or straightforward as we think, and we want to hear all about it. This podcast is hosted by Isoline Communications, your local friendly tech B2B content marketing agency. I'm Claire Trevian, AD at the agency, and my co-host today is Bailey Byrne, SAE at Isoline.
Hello, very happy to be here. I also have a little pet with me today. There's a fly that refuses to leave my flat, so please ignore.
And our special guest today is Martina Honsová. He's a copywriter traveling the world. I'm very jealous. We've worked with Martina over at HB Reavers, and then she joined us at Isoline Communications too. So we're very excited to talk to Martina today. So hi, Martina. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Excited to be here. No pets on my side. So a little boring.
All right, shall we dive straight in then? It'd be great, Martina, if you could just kick us off by telling us a little bit about your eclectic background.
My eclectic personality. No, it's very nice to meet you, everyone on the other side listening. My name is Martina. I'm talking to you from Colorado. It's super beautiful here, and I'm excited to be here. I've been in marketing for over 15 years, which is crazy to say. And I mean, I've done a lot of different roles in a lot of different environments. I started when I was 19, which is crazy long ago, and I worked for this tiny little local agency. We did a lot of political marketing, which is something that I probably wouldn't do now anymore, but it teaches you a lot. So that was a great start. And then I kind of moved around from different roles. I would say like marketing manager, content manager. I did social media for a while. Then I worked up my way to become a marketing director even. And soon after realized it was nothing for me and got back to the real creative thing that I've worked in agencies on the client side and in NGOs. So I think I've cruised the marketing landscape pretty well. But over the past 6 years, I've been working towards location independence, and I've gone fully freelance and focused on copywriting because that's always been my passion. And now I'm delivering strategic copywriting for clients from pretty much anywhere in the world as I travel full time with my partner. Sometimes in a van, sometimes we're in a cabin, sometimes we're who knows where.
Okay, so as you know, this is all about how did you do that and so forth and the behind the scenes. So we'd love to talk about a project that you worked on at HB Reavers and that you worked with Isoline actually when the pandemic hit. So I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about the Future of Work campaign and how you grabbed attention at a critical time.
Sure, that was a big one. I mean, when the pandemic hit, as an international workspace provider / well-being experts, we were like, this is our field of expertise. We cannot remain silent, right? But at the same time, no one kind of knew what was happening. So it took us a while to figure out how to approach content and what to talk about. And I think we made a really smart decision. It's like bragging a little, but we decided to run like 3 surveys to figure out like what the C-level executives who were the target groups back then, who they thought about the situation, because we kind of didn't want to make up the narrative from like sitting behind the desk and just thinking how things are, or like we were marketers, right? Not really workspace specialists. So we did that. And once we gathered the insights, we approached our in-house workspace experts. We had a team that really specialized solely in like how to make work. And we were like, hey, we gathered this data, and could you please offer your feedback and like fill us in on what's going on, what the research says, and how things are. And that's pretty much how the Future of Work report came about. We wrote it with you guys. We had to be quick to stay relevant. I think we put the whole thing together in like under 8 weeks, which is crazy. But it immediately got a lot of positive feedback because we identified the workspace megatrends. We were telling people like what's going on, what's probably going to happen in the future. And if I remember them correctly, we said that hybrid working is here to stay, which kind of proved correct. We said flexibility is something that you got to do to stay relevant. we were talking about health and well-being being in the center of everything. And the last one was technology, that it's going to play an immense role in supporting workers. So I think we were kind of right, and it generated, like, over the course of the campaign, it generated almost 1,000 leads, which is crazy. If you imagine that we were workspace provider, the business that was kind of on decline, but I think it was the well-being part that helped us generate attention, because all the managers, the C-levels, were thinking, like, how do we keep the team sane and ourselves at the same time? And how do we make sure that people don't burn out once the connections were lost, or stuff like that? So I think we knew what the audience wanted, and that was the key. And we were kind of figuring it out together with them. So it wasn't just like a very subjective study or a report or anything like that. And thanks to you too, we got a pretty sweet content award for that piece. So that was amazing.
I think what I love about that campaign and what I find very interesting is that we're really going against the grain of like popular thought at the time and saying something that other people weren't saying, which I guess is kind of the goal. Like you always want to be saying something new. But I guess with that as well, there's also some uncertainty about how it'll be received. Considering you said like all the research and you knew what the audience was saying, were you pretty confident with you were hitting the mark and saying what people wanted to hear? Or was there still that kind of uncertainty because there wasn't that proof of concept?
I should probably say we were pretty confident, but I think like the times were so confusing and chaotic that we were like, let's put this out there. And we did what we could, right? Like we totally tried our best, but then the feedback immediately showed that it was good, and we were kind of getting more and more confident, and then worked on like more content and developed the topic, and started publishing like blog posts and social media posts and all that. So I would say that we gained the confidence on the way.
And so social media played a big part as well in distributing it, right? So can you tell us some more about that campaign?
Definitely. I'm a social media girl, or I was back then. So I was like, we got to push it through social. And we kind of came up with like two different layers of social media content. First, it was like posts for Instagram and Facebook, and those were naturally like lighter and fun. And I was the creative soul behind it, so it was my task to come up with something fun, which I love to do, but it wasn't super easy because the times were kind of dark. So I was like, let's make something fun. And we were really lucky because back then we were working with an agency. They were really skilled animators, and they put together like little videos of like office equipment, like imagine a printer or a coffee machine or whatever, being sad and missing people, missing the workers in the office. And the underlying message was like, your office misses you too, because we needed to spread the message that offices are here to stay and that we all are missing them. And obviously we're a workspace provider, so we're not going to say that everyone's going to be home forever and you're never going to use the coffee machine ever again. And those generated great engagement because they were fun. Like you have a coffee machine crying, so that's something that's kind of new. But then there was the other layer. We couldn't do that on LinkedIn, right? Like that probably would have been a disaster. Who knows though? That was the more boring one. But there I was like, hey, we have a nice following. We had like 20,000 people, I believe, back then. So that's an audience. And I was like, we got to come up with something that's literally helpful and that's helping the C-levels. Again, it's the target group, navigate the times. And we kind of want to grab them by their hands and help them through all this mess. So what we did was we came up with a series of blog posts, and we called it Master Hybrid Working, like become the master of all this. And it was, I would say, like 10 articles on different topics, talking about how to maintain teams cooperating, how to make sure people deliver, how to be a good remote leader, and all that. But as a blog post, I don't think too many people would find it organically. So we just started pushing it through social media. And that one got like great feedback from the people that we wanted, like the C-levels, executives, and all that, because it was literally like manual on how to guide your teams through the pandemic. and social help to build reach and like spark discussions and all that. So I even think we hired like an HR expert, and we had like a third party providing input and insight. So that was making it even more credible.
I mean, when I think of you, I always think that someone's very creative, to be honest. Like, and that shows with that campaign, like all the social stuff and things that we've worked on, obviously at Isoline since. I know you get this question probably all the time, but where do you get your inspiration from?
Oh, yeah. I think professionally, I should always get inspired by my audience. It's not me just like pushing my own ideas and like letting the ego win. I always have to think about what they need and what's going to be helpful. But in general, I think traveling is a huge part of it. Like I had a client telling me like I was in Barbados working from like a really exotic place, and he went like, hey, I can sense it, like something's new with you. There is like a lot of creative stuff and it's like all fresh. And I bet it's because you're like on the beach for half of the day, right? So I would say it's a mix. I always try to get inspired by the places I'm at or like what's going on around me. But also professionally, I need to make sure that I follow all the marketers' rules and guidelines on how to make good stuff.
All right, so I think we should move on to the next section of this podcast, which is truth or myth. So this is where we give you a statement and you tell us whether you agree or disagree with it, basically. Do you think it's the truth? Do you think it's a myth? And if you want to expand and tell us why, then that would be great. So, are you ready? I feel like there should be drum rolls. Okay, so the first one is ChatGPT is going to replace marketers' jobs. Truthful?
No. No. Of course, I gotta say no. I don't think it is. But of course, it's because of my job security and trying to persuade myself that I'm good for years to come. But I've been using ChatGPT as an assistant and sometimes as a therapist. And let me tell you, that one's great. Like if I feel very nervous or anxious about something I'm working on or like a situation I had with a client, instead of like walking up to my partner and be like just like dumping it all on him, I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, did I manage this professionally? Or what would you say? Stuff like that. I think it's a good way.
Yeah, I've never heard of it like that.
But then I'm scared that I'm sharing too much of like personal stuff and it's gonna like build an avatar of me or something, and it's not good. But I've been doing that, and I think it's actually very, very helpful.
Well, we've unlocked a new use case for it.
Yeah, and it's cheaper too. I don't even pay for the paid version. You get cheap therapy. But no, I don't think it's going to replace marketers. I think it's going to be more and more helpful. And like what we do as marketers is going to change because we will need to accept that there is this ChatGPT that's like constantly sitting like next to us. But I don't think it's going to replace us.
So let's do another truth or myth. Bailey, do you want to pick one?
Yeah, so the next one, truth or myth, blogs are dead.
As a copywriter, of course, I'm saying no. But no, they're not. They're not. But I think marketers / copywriters should think more about the format, the delivery, and how this landscape's changing. Because, for example, in HB Revis, we did a lot of audio blogs. Like we hired professional actors to read our blog posts and we recorded them. And then we again pushed it through social media, and we were telling people, hey, just listen to it when you're driving to work, commuting, or anything like that. And I think we got to think more and more about the day-to-day life of today's people that don't really have time to sit down and read, not even like half a page. So I would say they're not dead, but make sure you're respecting where we're going and what's going on and how people consume information these days. But I still write a lot of blog posts for clients, and I still am getting feedback that it's better than when they ask GPT to produce things. So that's good.
And that's so interesting about the audio versions of blogs. I've seen a fair few where it's obviously an AI voice and it's not very engaging. But I can imagine with proper actors and everything. Like, did you see good figures with that? Did it resonate?
Yeah. I remember it was kind of hard to measure because we used a platform that we could upload it to and then embed to WordPress. So you would still find the audio in the actual blog post. But like social media figures and reach, of course, we used paid advertising. So that's part of that reach. But overall, it was performing well, but maybe it came a little too early because we started doing it like 3 years ago, something like that. So maybe now it would be even more fitting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially it's interesting because, like you're saying, with a blog, with written content, people don't really want to sit down and read. But when it comes to like audio and visual content, people are much more willing to sit down and like spend a lot of time listening to it. So it's, yeah, I think a very handy way to kind of keep moving with the times and have the blogs be in that audio format, because you can do two things at once then. It's like, having a podcast on in the background. You can play it whilst you're doing something else instead of having to solely dedicate your time. So yeah, I think that's a really
Right.
cool way. And yeah, I think that definitely came before the trend, which is quite cool.
Like put it where people are. I think we even played with the thought of sharing our official press releases on Instagram, like Instagram stories, where you would just swipe and go read the press release, because we figured not too many people come to media centers anymore, and that was a really playful way. And maybe you don't even realize that you're consuming a press release issued by a workspace provider, which is a pretty heavy thing. So I think that's the key. Realize where people are, what they do, what they enjoy, and just put your stuff up there.
I love that. That's such a good idea. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm quite late to enjoying podcast game, as it were. But it's since I've started driving more and also having to do more like packing and all that kind of stuff, I find having a podcast is great. It just distracts me and I don't realize that I'm doing that stuff. And I don't realize, oh, we're at a destination. Amazing. So I'm a latecomer to enjoying it. I used to always think I needed something visual to sort of keep my attention. But yeah, it's definitely got its role.
It's great for running too, if you want to get distracted from how painful it is. I started audiobooks and podcasts. It's been perfect.
Yeah, I like that in the gym as well. I like to listen to Louis Theroux because he really chills me out, and I don't quite realize that I'm like in pain or doing something very hard, and I'm just like, oh, it's just Louis Theroux chatting to me.
Yeah. I need someone talking to me. Like, I do these guided runs when they tell you like you're doing great and it's just 5 more minutes and just keep going. And I'm like a baby. I'm like, I really love it and it's really motivating me. So I think there is something about like voice and audio and having all that. So maybe we receive the information in a different way. I'm sure there is research on it, like comparing reading with like listening to stuff, but I know the actors, they're great with like playing with intonation and just like making the piece really impactful. So that's probably what helps.
I think it's motion with listening that's important as well with this. I think there's something about kinetic learning, as it were. I've always thought that I would be able to learn a language or new things much more if I was doing something with my hands, whether it was a pottery class or painting or whatever. And I feel like there's a market for that. So if someone's listening and would like to do that for me, that'd be great. Lots of languages I'd love to learn. But I think there's something with that, and that's probably why listening to podcasts or doing something else is just so effective. I think let's round it up now. This is a nice, healthy amount of time that we've been chatting for, if that's all right. Just wanted to say thank you again to Martina for joining us today, and to Bailey for co-hosting. And I hope you've enjoyed listening to this podcast. Please don't hesitate to hit subscribe so you can get an alert when the next episode comes out. And keep an eye on our blog if you want to read a transcript of this. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Have a good one.